With the combat overhaul in late February drastically changing the base 3 styles, there's no better time than now to learn the bosses and activities you'll need for magic gear, armor, and other accessories. I won't be going over every possible armor set or weapon, just the most easily accessible and widely used. As with all styles, you can directly craft your starting gear from various cloths or hides from levels 1 to 50, or buy them from various shops. Zaf in Varric Square sells your starting wizard robes. He also sells bark and fine cloth, which at level 40 you can bring to Wizard Jalarast in the Wizard's Tower to make split bark. And Mystic at level 50 can be bought from the Wizard's Guild in Yanil, though you will need 66 magic or a boost to enter. At level 60 magic, you have two main choices. If you're coming to magic late and have 82 Slayer, you can make Griffolic, tier 60 tank gear by venturing into the Polypore dungeon. Otherwise, the majority of players will opt for tier 60 Lunar armor after completing the Lunar Diplomacy quest. Aside from tier 50 Skeletal, this is your first easily obtainable power armor, and given that the highest requirement is 65 magic and that the spellbook is incredibly useful anyways, it only makes sense to go for this as soon as you can. One of the strongest upgrades you can get before you start bossing for tier 70 gear and above is the Gothic Staff from Mage Arena. Unlike in old school RuneScape, the PvP in the wilderness is opt-in, so this is perfectly safe to do. You just have to defeat Collodion to get the cape and staff, and then cast the spell 100 times in the arena to unlock it permanently. This is definitely worth doing, as this remains one of the most useful special attacks magic can have for a very long time, as it not only hits hard, but will decrease the enemy's defense. If you want to improve your magic weapon before fighting some bosses, you'll need to finish as much of the Mayaki and Vampire questline as you can. Branches of Darkmire allows you to make tier 70 Blisterwood magic weapons, and if you can complete the final quest in the series, River of Blood, you'll earn the Sun Spear, which is not only tier 78, but can be turned into a melee or ranged weapon at will, and is a key unlock for Invention. As you move into higher tier armor, depending on if you want tank or power sets, you'll head to either Krill Susaroth in the God Wars dungeon to earn some subjugation power robes, or dig your way into Barrows and defeat Arim for his tank setup. Either one you choose, these are very easy bosses, and a great way to learn your rotations and setup. Now with a taste for battle, your next targets would either be Nex from God Wars 1, who drops the tier 80 Virtus Wand, Orb, and Power Robe set, or Hellweir in God Wars 2, where you can get the Anima Core of Seren armor and the tier 85 Psyweir weapon set, though I recommend raising your drop rate by earning Reputation here first. If you want the tank gear instead, the common choice would be tier 85 Sea Singer's equipment, however due to the lengthy grind that is player-owned ports, a lot of people opt to skip this. Before we move into tier 90 and above endgame gear, there are a few useful upgrades you'll need to consider. As with all styles, earning a Kiln Cape and then upgrading it into an Igneous Cape by defeating Zuck is one of the largest upgrades you can get. If you don't like the runes taking up your inventory slots, you can also make rune pouches with Abyssal Thread earned from rune crafting via the Abyss, and you can then upgrade them later via Croesus. For your rings and necklaces, you can use the same as for other styles. An Amulet of Souls or Essence of Finality for the necklace slot, alongside an Asylum Ring, Ring of Death, or the Dagonoth King Ring for your style of choice. For the pocket slot, any Combat Godbook will do. However, due to the style focusing heavily on critical hits, a Grimoire obtained from Solak is the best you can go for. One interesting thing to note about Magic is that a lot of the endgame gear comes from bosses that are easier to do in a group of 2 or more players. Aside from a Mascot, you can solo them all, but if you're having trouble with some of RuneScape's hardest fights, then find a friend or a clan or group to fight alongside you. Tier 90 gear will have you either tackling the colossal spider boss Araxor for the Noxious Staff, or heading to Virago to get a Seismic Wand and Orb. Virago also drops energy used to craft and repair Tectonic armor, which can be upgraded, so you'll likely want to head there anyways. But soloing Virago is notoriously difficult, so you may want to bring some help. Tier 95 weapons will see you heading to either the Sanctum of Rebirth for the dual-wield Wand and Orb, and then returning for the hard mode when ready to upgrade your gear to tier 100, or battling Kerapak for the ever-useful Greater Concentrated Blast Codex, and defeating him in hard mode for the absurdly strong Fractured Staff of Armadil, the current strongest magic weapon in the game. For your tier 90 and above armor, you have a few choices. If you find bossing with your current armor too difficult, worry not. For tank gear, Starbloom and Masterwork magic, made with a maxed crafting level, are a pacifist route to some very powerful robes, whilst Cryptbloom armor can be made from flakes dropped by Croesus, the skilling boss, and combined with Animate Dead, make for the best defensive gear in the entire game. If you're ready for combat, however, and have a group you can trust, you can instead head to a Mascot, where you can get the Tumican's Resplendence gear, a set of tier 95 power armor. To make better use of your weapons and armor, there are a few other important upgrades. Greater Sonic Wave dropped from the 4 and 3 Ghosts and Phantoms, a Magma Tempest Codex from Zuck, Corruption Blast from the Mazcab Raids, and Greater Sunshine from Zamorak. With a game this large on its 25th anniversary this year, there are many items and alternate gear of varying tiers that I can't cover in a short video. If you're intrigued by what you heard and saw here, visit the wiki to learn more about all the various magical tools at your disposal. Otherwise, I hope this video helped, and happy scaping.